New day, new project. Today we have two ATARI SF314 disk drives in unknown condition. I'm pretty sure one of these is dead and the other one I have no idea because I don't have a power supply. I only have this one data cable, and these drives need 5 and 12 volts, and they have this crazy plug here, which basically is a male 5-pin DIN plug in the drive. It should be the other way around. And I found this female plug, but if you put the plastic cover all over it, there's no thing to plug in here, so you have to actually use, I think, some tape to just hold it together, and then you can actually plug it in here. This is even a 7-pin plug, and it works if you have the right one. So we're going to put 5 and 12 volts onto this. I have my self-drawn schematic here, which is just 3 ground pins, one plus 12 on pin 4 and plus 5 on pin 1. That should be pretty easy. And then we have at least power supplies for these, and I'm planning on doing at least one Gotek conversion. So I have a Gotek here, which is unprogrammed. I will program this. We have to solder a boot pin on here, or boot pins, and need a jumper to jumper this, and then we can program this for the Atari ST and put one in one of these drives if one of these drives is dead. Else I do have another empty shell but no connector. That would be a bit more involved, because pretty much inside these drives is just a one-to-one conversion between the IDE interface, not the IDE, the Sugar interface of the drive, and this cable. Yeah, not sure if I want to do that. So let's hope one is dead and we can just swap out the Gotek. Yeah, let's get cracking. This video is kindly sponsored by PCBWay. Thank you, PCBWay. I have this 14 volt 3 amp power supply from some Samsung whatever. I think it's from a dead notebook. So we'll cut the plug off, and then I will go and solder to these two step up / step down, hopefully, converters. I know they are step up. I don't know if they are step down. Okay, let's begin again. I found that I have this 6 amp 5 volt wall wart from Ref Power, which has 3 inputs. And I also found that I have a step up that has a USB connector on one side. So you can just plug in USB cable like this. Have your input, plug this in here, and have a step up. And I will use this one here, and I will connect. There's still V in minus and plus. I can connect 2 cables here, which give me the 5 volts I need to the connector, to my floppy connector. And I can go here and get the 12 volts, which I step up from this here, from here, and have my 2 cables which I need, or my 2 voltages which I need, in just one step up converter. So I don't need this one, the second one, and I don't need the first one. So these two go back into my parts bin. Let's check if this here actually works, and let's connect the probes to the spots. This is out minus and this is out plus. Let's see what we get if we plug this in. And we get straight 5 volts. Okay, now we can go and adjust this to the 12 volts we need. Yeah, that doesn't work at all. So Let me first wire some cables, and then we can actually connect these two cables, which should go much better. Yeah, let's take a black one and a yellow one for the 12 volts line. And let's have the 5 volts in, I think I don't have red anymore. Let's have the 5 volts in green. Again, we tin the PET. Okay, then we put the out minus. That's on. We put the green, which would be 5 volts, on the in pin. On. And we put the 12 volts on the out pin. Should be all the wiring we need on that part. Let's strip the wires here and see if we get the voltages. We should now get 5 volts and adjust it. If we do the adjustment, 12 volts. So this is our universal ground wire, which we clip on here. And this should be our 5 volts. So if we plug this in now, we should be getting 5 volts on here. If we plug the USB cable in again, like this, and we get auto, auto, auto. Do we really need the second ground wire? Well, let's check the 12 volts line, which should be 5 right now, since we didn't do anything to it. Yeah, so these input and output grounds are disconnected. Interesting. We can now use this to actually get it to 12 volts here. You can't even see what I see. So let's try to set the output voltage to 12 volts. As I said, this can take a while, turning these things here, these variable resistors. Ah, okay, we need the other direction. Cool. Let's set this to a smart 12. Okay, close enough. Okay, so I will put in a second ground wire, and hopefully then we get the 5 volts. Okay, second ground wire's on. Let's measure if we get 5 volts. Okay, so do we get 5 volts? Let's see. We might if we plug in the 5 volts USB cable. Plugging it in, measuring it, should be 5 volts. Do we get 5 volts? And we do. Perfect. Okay, so we have 5 volts and we have 12 volts, all in this neat little package here. So let's cable manage this a little, so that we don't get any shorts we don't really want. And I will put a cable tie around these 4 cables on the end. That's good enough for me. Now we can go and solder the connector finally. And I will put this back on here, but I won't put it all the way over the connector so that we have something to plug into the drive. This is through there. If you take a look at the connector, you can actually see that there are numbers. So let me grab my wiring diagram. And what you see here is female into cable. So this is like this. So we already know we don't need these lower 2 pins, and we can just take them out. And to do this, these are just twisted in here. So you can twist these back like this and then push, and they should come out like this. And And you don't have to do this, but I do because I like my cables tidy. Just like this, we have 2 contacts and we have a 5-plug cable. So we have 1 down here because pin 1 would be here, and it's actually numbered 1 right here, so that's correct. And we would have pin 4 here, which is up here, which is also correct, pin 4. And all the other cables are just ground. So let's tin the pads on here, and then let's attach the cable. And I will leave the top pin out, which would be a ground pin. I would just solder the outer pins. And you should be fast when you solder to these connectors because they are plastic and they melt. This way around we have to put the +5, which is the green wire in our case, to the rightmost lower pin. Now we do the 12 volts, which is a yellow cable. And I forgot to tin these, so do this because it will be much easier to solder. Yeah, that's on. Nice. Okay, let's put the shielding on, and then let's measure if our connector actually works. We just put this over slightly like this, and we will use some tape to hold it in place. Here's my schematic, which says if we turn this around we should have 5 volts down here and 12 volts up here. So let's grab the multimeter. We did put ground here, and we did put 5 volts here, and that is straight 5 volts. And we did put 12 volts here, and that is nothing. And if we put it here, you get 12 volts. And now we go and we plug in our homemade connector into the drive. Let me just put some electrical tape around this so that it stays in place. Yeah, I guess this works. So now we have a cable which has some exposed metal here, and then we can just plug it into this power connector. Hopefully don't kill the drive if it's not already dead. So let's see what happens. Let's power it off. Not sure if it should make a sound, to be honest, but it doesn't. Let's try the other one. Also no sound. I think we need an actual Atari to check it. Okay, let's grab the 520 ST and see if it does anything. Okay, this drive is plugged in. Atari setup. Let's see. Oh, it's actually rotating inside there. I don't get a signal right now. Wait. Okay, but it's not detecting the drive. That could be a problem with the drive, or it could be a problem with my cable. Let's try the other one. Let's see. It doesn't do anything. No sound at all. Also no drive detected. Maybe it has to be the import here, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's running again. Let me change the port here. Maybe that changes anything. Oh, that seems to do something. It's actually ticking. Should that work? Let's put in... Hey! I'm an idiot. So you have to use the in port and not the out port. I always mix these up. So if I put in a disk, that works. So the lower disk drive actually works. Wait. Let's try that again. And it means my cable works. Success. Now I have a USB powered ATARI disk drive. Cool. And there's R-type loading. Awesome. Okay, so seems like drive number 1 works. It's a bit jammed. Really have to push it hard. Let's try the other drive. Now I'm really curious if any of these, if the other one also works. But it didn't make any sound, so not sure. Oh. Yeah, not much happening there. Just swallowed my R-type disk. Okay, so this drive is dead. This drive is good. So we will take this one here to turn it into a Gotek, but I want to do something else first. I want to try and to swap the drive, because technically this should just be a PC disk drive. And if it is just that, you should be able to use this without any modification. I'm not sure if this is actually true. So let's open this up, take the drive out and try to put in a new drive. So this is the whole interface, which I think doesn't do much. Now an off switch, and that's it. And the rest is just straight through connection between this connector and the sugared interface. Not much to see here. So we could, I think, technically, well, this is a very beefy drive. Let me show you how to prepare the Gotek for the Atari, and then we will connect this to this interface. Hope that this interface actually works. But if it doesn't, there are just 2 caps and 2 resistors, so I will just replace these. And then we can actually try that out and put it into this case. I don't want to destroy the case, so there's plenty of room here. I should be able to somehow fit this in there so that you can actually use it. So to get this Gotek to work inside an Atari ST, we will use the flash floppy by Kierdorf, and for that we have to flash this or program this, and for that we have to solder a little jumper over here. You could also do this, I think, with just a wire bridge, but I will solder in 2 pins and then just jumper this with a real jumper. So I will have to take this out of the case, and that's all the soldering needed for that. I will just remove this from the case, and we have to go in and solder to what says J3, these 2 pins. You can also use just a wire to connect these 2. But remember that you have to remove the wire again, or at least to cut it, and put it on there for programming. That's it. So now we need a USB-A to USB-A cable, and I made that. And if you don't have one, I think you can buy these, or you can just make one yourself, which is just a straight through cable between 2 USB-A connectors. Nothing fancy, just connect the wires white to white, red to red, black to black, and green to green. That is all it takes. And then you go and download the firmware, which we will do now, and put it on there. Let me just quickly find my A to A cable, so we can actually put this back into the case so that it's protected. And yes, you can make a fancy display and all the stuff. I'm not going to do this in this video because I think I did that in another video already. And if I have not, just remind me to do it again in the next video. So just put it in the box. Our boot connector is here. And we can just plug in there. And here's my USB-A to USB-A cable. I did not even bother to solder that back then. It's just, well, taped together. And one end goes here, and the other end goes straight into a connection on the machine. Don't use a USB hub, or it could fail. Let me quickly show you the correct jumper settings for the Gotek, and ignore this power cable here. This is after the fact, and I'm just re-recording this part because it wasn't clear in the video. So you have, if you have Gotek like this here and the power connector to the top, or the data connector to the top, you have a jumper on MO and you have a jumper on S0. You don't have any other jumper here, which is very, very important, because if there's a jumper anywhere else here, it won't boot for now. To program it, we just put in these two pins here, and you put a jumper over this to program it, and after you programmed it, you pull the jumper off. You leave these two jumpers in place, and that is all it takes. As I said, connect the USB to USB cable here, and the other end into the USB port on your PC, and off you go. And now we go and we download the Flash Floppy software, download the zip file. We will do that and program a brand new Gotek. We will go to that page. So here's our Flash Floppy, and we will just unzip that here. Here's the stuff we need. And it says here to jumper this connection, which we did, and we need the ATARI programmer. So let's go there and download that. We go to resources up here. Tools. And then, okay, I think this is it. So you have to let's first install the driver. I think we should first unpack that here. So if you haven't installed 7-zip, you should actually do that. Driver, yes, please. Install driver. Installing driver. Let's install. I have not programmed the Gotek that way. I had a different way. I just don't recall which one it was. So you live, you learn, you forget, you learn again. At least I do. So let's wait. Oh, I think that was part one. Now let's install the programmer itself, or let's just run it. Ah, there it is. Does it look anything like the other one? And especially, here's English. Okay, that's better. So now I have to plug in my Gotek drive into the PC. Let's see if that actually works and if it gets recognized. Oh, maybe it's USB DFU. Oh, this looks much better. So let's try this one. USB DFU, next. The device is access protection, and the device will limit you some functions. Okay. So we'll just click next. Okay. That looks like the protection disable will be mass erased and all contents will be lost. I usually want to disable access protection. Okay, so that seems to erase everything. So just click on protection, disable access protection, and running. Close. Oh, okay, that was that. Let's try that again. Start the programmer again. USB DFU, correct. Target is readable. Please click next to proceed. Okay. Again, we click next, and I think now we have to select download to device, and we have to add Flash Floppy hex. See? Let's use this one. Optionally select the verify after download option. Verify after download. Sounds good to me. Click next. Enable access protection. Don't show this again. Okay. Erase running. That seems to be it if it works. Operation finished successfully. Okay. So let's plug it in and see what it does, I think. So if I'm not completely mistaken, we have to remove the boot jumper here, and then we just connect this to this. Okay, so after some fiddling, I actually managed to get this to show FF, which means flash floppy. So this is flashed correctly. So all we did is correct. There was a jumper right there. There's the first one and the third one, which is the MO and the S0, which has to stay, and there was one which was across here, and that made this not power up. So that is corrected now. Then I got an RIB, which means the cable is the wrong way around. So you have to actually put it this way, at least for the external drive. If you put it in the 1040 or the 520 STF, you have to turn the cable around, I think. So if I power this on now, switch it on, you can see it says flash floppy. And if we put in a USB stick, it should go to the menu. Let's switch the machine on. It says 00 and we switch over. I've not tested that yet. Ah, alrighty. There we are. Nice. So I have one of these cheapo Intenso flash drives, and that is actually been found. Let's see, that is FAT32. Great. Let's just format this again in FAT32. It's faster than delete. Okay, quick format. Close it up. Here's our thumb drive, and there should be our flash floppy stuff, and there should somewhere be a folder called ATARI. You have to actually copy these two over here. This autoboot.hfe from the HXC compact mod ATARI ST. I think that is it. I'm not sure. Okay, let's try this out. Oh, let's first put some stuff on here. So it does seem that you actually need .st files for the Gotek. And if we switch it on now, boot the machine, hopefully get an image. We do, and now we have 20,000 miles beyond the sea. We put this as an ST file, and we put this here, and we say F10, saving selection. It should now reboot and go to 01, and it opens the disk. That actually seems to work. At least it's blinking away here. It is loading. Ah, I hear sound. Yeah, that works. Okay, so we have now an external Gotek drive on the Atari ST. Cool. Not sure if it works on a 1040 STF, because there it would be drive B. Good, so let me put this into this case and see how that looks. Yeah, so I put in just one screw to have it in here. And this pretty much covers all the important parts, the display and the buttons, so we have to level this up. But this should actually work. I will put some standoffs in there, and then we should rise it about that high, so that it actually, the buttons are actually here. Let me try that. Okay, got it in like this. You can see the display, you can reach the buttons. Now even better. And this should work perfectly without destroying the case, which is nice. Put in the controller and screw it back together. A small problem, since the Gotek is shorter than the disk drive, these cables won't reach the Gotek if the controller is back in here where it should be. So I have to extend these, and I will extend this connector here with some DuPont cables, which is pretty easy. Just connect this to this, and this here I will have to check. So since we only need 5 volts and ground on the Gotek, we only have to connect 2 of the wires, which is the rightmost and the white one, and one of the white ones. The orange one is my 5 volts, and that goes to the the rightmost connector from this angle of the Gotek, and the brown one next to this. And then we have this extended. I will just put some electrical tape on there so that it holds up. And then we'll have to check how to connect the cable or extend the cable without ripping it out, because it's soldered to the board. It's not just plugged in. Else I would just put in a new cable, but that is not an option. The Gotek works, so what I could do is I could actually print something for this year, 3D print, and put the display here and a rotary dial and stuff like that, and actually use the light or the LED from the drive to see the flashing of the Gotek. And I might do this, but not in this video. That might be a second part or just a short video. For now, I'm happy that this actually works the way it is, even if it's just, well, barely holding on there. Yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and I see you in the next video. Cheerio. Thanks again to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. If you need any PCBs, pre-assembled PCBs or 3D printing, please use the link in the description below.
Thank you for watching Retro is the New Black. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. If you like the video, please share. Every like, share, and comment helps a lot. Until next time, bye-bye.